Howdy y'all. So Danny is impressed with my outfit today. I got my welding chaps on, but so obviously where we left this thing, she was running, driving. I think we got everything kind of dialed together in the motor, enough that we can carry on. So the plan now is to finish off the two-door swap. Obviously we have it just kind of tack weld it together, and the big thing we have to do is finish welding it, weld in the inner structure and in the door jamb. Now, first things first, I do have to break the bottom of the door away so I can get in there and finish welding the post, because it's at a bit of a funny angle. So I have this scrap steel here. It's pretty thick stuff, so we're going to cut it into a little bit. We'll trace the backside and weld this right from the rocker to the post, so that'll be sturdy. Man, you're all over the place with your stuff there. Be nice and sturdy. Get that dialed. Then we'll get the door jamb taken care of. Then I can start welding all around in there. Fill in the door gap or the handle gap. Might try and dolly that in. We'll see what happens. And really, at that point, be ready for body filler and primer. And I don't know if we'll do the inside or what we're going to do, but I want it to look like a proper two-door. I mean, I know from a distance, if you squint just right, it looks like a two-door, but in all reality right now, it looks like we cut down the back door and welded it shut, which we did. So this drives me nuts. That has to go, and this seam has to be welded in. Then that will really change the look of this thing. So I'm going to get this thing up in the air, and we'll start attacking the post. Y'all. All right, so we're at the post. Ooh. Anyway, I got this little bottom piece I welded the hell out of it in there. So that's that real thick plate I had there. So that ain't going nowhere. Nice thing it is, I took out just a piece of scrap steel, and I thought I'd get started a little bit. So this is literally what the door jambs will look like. So I kind of just followed the contour as much as I could. Now at the bottom, obviously, it doesn't really matter. And at the top, we're gonna have to do something a little goofy in there to make it join, but we'll be fine. So we're gonna hold this with one hand, wherever you want it, and we'll trace out that side, cut it out with the zip disc, and then literally just start welding it in. It's just that easy. Now, when you are doing that, open and close the door a few times, whatever you gotta do, make sure the fitment is good. Now, I'm pretty confident because all I did was I broke a couple of tacks at the bottom to fold the door a little bit, but nothing else moved. Obviously, it's welded pretty steady, and I mean, it's not really gonna come in and out too bad, but this is gonna give us all our strength this way. And yeah, I'm obviously going to plate on the inside as well once we get in there, but we're working just on the cosmetics right now. So we'll get this buzzed in there, and then we can start kind of doing there. Unfortunately, there's a little bit of rust repair. We'll have to take care of that little section, but the rest of it should be able to go in. And then down here, I'll probably have to make a little filler piece because it's got a fair bit of a gap. But all down there and all that will make it look good. Who looks down at the rocker anyways, right? So let's get fitting on this. All right, well, I've been giving her, but the damn GoPro overheated and shut off. Merc came by, put the hood on. Man, this thing, it just looks so cool. Like such a blue hair sleeper. A big block under the hood, look good. Honestly, I put the hood on to try and keep some of the sparks and stuff out of the motor because I really feel like you guys are already just starting to click-clack there in the comments. Anyway. Got that all dialed together. We got this mostly kind of welded. The door doesn't fit as good anymore because there's some weld touching the door, so it's a little, well, I guess it's actually not that bad. But there we go. So that's how she looks. Nothing fancy. I used a couple of pieces at the bottom there. So we'll have to kind of grind that out and just smooth it out with some filler, some fiberglass, but it looks fine. No one's gonna know the difference. So that's that. I think up next, we're gonna stitch all this together, or as much as I can. I'll probably leave that little section. I wanna get these cut out and filled in. This one I might be able to hammer and dolly in. We'll see what happens there, but either way, we'll cut those out, get that all together. Man, it actually still closes mint. Up in here, we'll kind of weld up that and do what we got to do. I'd like to get this side kind of done and ground down. And then I don't know what I'm going to do in the bottom. If I want to put a piece in there or leave that for another time and get onto the other side. Because there's only so much time in the day, so we only get the most progress we can. And some of the boring stuff like welding the bottom, I might just do that on my own. Because honestly, it's so boring. At least the top bit you get to kind of see, grind it, make it look like something. If we do have to fix this back door patch, I might just kind of cut that right out and weld it all in at once. We'll see where we end up. Anyways, I'm going to start welding this all in solid. It's going to take a little bit of time kind of going back and forth. So maybe I'll do that. I'll start and cut and weld and do whatever and enjoy. Well, a pile of welding later. You're a little ugly up in there and whatever it may be, but you don't clean all the paint off. It's kind of how it's going to be. So that'll at least be ground down. We got our little patch in there. We should be fine. Now what we're going to do is we're going to cut this out real quick. So I think I'm just going to cut like a box or whatever it is out of both those, and then we'll just use a little bit of scrap metal. There is a gentle curve to it, and right here, this has, well, I guess it's actually way better in camera, but right at the bottom of it, there's this kind of belt line or stamping in the quarter. So I want to keep real tight to that as much as I can, at least at the bottom. So I don't want to mess that up because we got to already kind of join those, which is actually not too bad. It lines up pretty good, but get that done. Just got to weld the bottom in real quick. I'll do that my own. And then I got to run out and get some fiberglass and some flap discs. And I kind of want to get this side looking like a car, maybe put a little bit of primer in it or something like that. Just real rough, just get a finished 80 grit or something, and then we'll carry on the other side. Okay, this is a rather simple repair, but still want to take our time, make sure it gets done right. So I'm just going to cut both these out, and we're going to use them as templates for the new metal. Okay, so now just slap this on this piece of scrap, give her a trace, give her a cut, and then we're gonna have to give her a bit of a fold, but it'll be fine. Okay, so we have the piece that we're going to use. Now, we do have a bit of a bow, so we'll see if we can maybe just kind of do it by hand a little. It's not a whole lot to really think about here. Just give her a bit of a shape. And we're going to tack it in. Honestly, filler will fix all the lack of my metal fabrication skills. There we go. I'll do this one real quick and be done with it. Can we all take a minute and appreciate how I was welding left-handed? Like that's pretty impressive. Anyways, get that dialed. I'll weld the bottom. We'll come back for some grinding. All right, we're in the future. Both patches are welded. I did get down there. I just cut a strip out of there and put it in. It actually fit real nice. And then actually where the quarter dropped down into the sill, there's a little seam there. I welded that up too. I'm not really too sure if that's, I assume on a 2-door, the whole panel will be one piece. So that's a 4-door thing. So we got that now. Tools of the trade, pretty simple. I love these flap discs. We're gonna do that. And I'm gonna use, pretty rarely do I use these rock or whatever they are discs, but I find they do nice in here to give it a real nice shape because you kind of have that little bevel. You get in there better than, these things start off real square, but then they get wore out, but then really all the material is down this way and you got to kind of angle the grinder so the tip's the first thing to wear and they become junk. So we'll get set up, we'll grind that down. Camera is almost in memory, so I got to dump that off in the computer, and I also got to run out. I want to get some fiberglass, just some like kitty hairs, kind of like Bondo, but it'll get in there, and that's how we're going to finish all these seams. So a little bit of grinding, hopefully we'll run out of footage, and then we'll be back schmooning it up. And I mean, she's a 2-door. Now it's really a 2-door. Okay, so where we left it, I was grinding my little face off, and I got this all taken care of. So it's, well, it's 2-door on this side with a few patch panels. We ran out, and I had to get a little fiberglass because I didn't have any. So we're gonna use this long strand fiberglass resin. And where did I put the? So it's a little 2-part thing. I put a little. Just the resin in to thin it out a little bit, just because we're gonna kind of smear it in a few spots by hand. So I'll get this mixed up and be right back, and I'll show you installing it, hiding all the 4-door. So there we go, it's all mixed up. I kind of hate this stuff, I'm not gonna lie, but it is good for this exact situation. So it kind of seals in the weld, gives it some more strength than just body filler. So it's good for seams and whatnot. So we're just gonna go ahead and give her a shmoo overall these areas that we were butchering pretty good. I went way into the paint there by accident. The goal is trying to avoid body work, but this stuff's so terrible. I just hate it. Gotta be gentle. Man, I feel like bad Chad here, just letting her rip on this thing. So, now the problem is, again, we get in these little kind of goofy creases or whatever. That's where the gloves come in handy. Just let her rip in there. And then up top, that's the real fun bit. At least the flat bits we can kind of just schmoo right over. Down here, I'll probably end up doing a fair bit of body work. And then rocker guarding the whole thing. At least the bottom. Paintable rocker guard. We're not butchers here. Try and get some of this out of the way. Oh, I missed a spot. Yeah, no one's gonna know what it was. So now we get up in this area. This is where it becomes a bit of a pain. You end up making a bit of a mess. So use your old finger just to give her a quick shape. Hide all that terrible welding. No one's gonna know what happened. We'll also have to get in the door jamb, but that might be on the next coat. This stuff smells bad. It's terrible. Gentle, gentle. And then I'll probably clean this up with, actually I got a new little flap tool that has different grits on it, so we might try that. Try that. Sounds like Merce here. Look at that, there we go. So, kind of poke that in there. I think we're done. I'll put just a little bit in the door jamb, and I'll come back when it's maybe hardened up. We're on set, man. Sorry. Okay, so we got this thing all dialed together. It's hard to the touch, so brought out Murr's big air hog here. We're just gonna try and flatten that out best we can. In those areas, kind of just dust her in around there, and then the bottom's real easy. I don't know, I might try and jam that thing in here. We'll see. Get some of this off, and then I don't know if I'm gonna put some body filler on right away or not. We're running low on time, and we got to bail tomorrow, but we'll see. We'll be able to get that kind of started. Well, that was hardening up. I pulled the old miller over here and just started laying down all the welds. So we got that all in most of the way down, so that's good. I got the brace in on the post, so that's sturdy, ain't going nowhere. I think what we'll do is we'll sand that, we'll put some filler on it, and while that filler's drying, maybe we'll put this door jamb in. So this side unfortunately needs a little bit more work, because down here I stopped welding because we're gonna have to fix all this at some point. So this side will probably just be welded. Tonight it'd be nice if I could get those filled and the jam in, have this side metal worked, have the other side maybe in 40 or 80 grit, maybe some high built primer on it, just so it looks like a car. Let's be honest, we're doing it for the thumbnail, and yeah, it'll look cool. So get the camera set up, put my mask on. Fiberglass, don't breathe this stuff, it's not good for you. Okay, there we have it. So, I gave her a quick blast. Everything came out really nice. I mean, there's no filler on this thing, other than the stuff I put in, but the car itself is all original metal, a little dented up. So right there is where the door closed. We have a little bit of a low spot there, and there's also where the handle was, but again, it's probably from being beaten in and out, and you can see the paint's cracked like that. That means it's all pushed in. So we'll fix that with filler versus a hammer and dolly. Up in there looks nice. Look at that. Factory original hot rod right there. And then I gave inside the door again just a quick blast. I didn't get all the fiberglass off. I was watching Bad Chat a little while ago. I love the way that guy does bodywork because he just loads on the filler and shaves it off. And he was putting filler right over unfinished fiberglass. So since he did it and it's easier, I'm doing it. So I now have my, what do I have here? Body filler. Oh, there we go. This is good stuff. Ooh, a little bit of texture in there. Might soften this up with a little bit of resin. But we're gonna load that on there, schmoo that on, all up in there and in there. I'll then work on that door jamb, get that finished off. By the time that is done, this will be hard. Shander, prime it, and it'll look good one side from a distance on YouTube with the lights off. So I changed plans. I don't want to do any more welding. But man, look at this thing. It actually came out pretty nice. Pretty flat. The bottom came out so good. That'll be next to no work to finish. Up in here will be a little bit. But anyways, here's where the plan's going to change. That hardened up nice. Needs a few more minutes. But before we work on that, I thought what I would do is I would just hit this with the grinder real quick. Get the real ugliness off. We'll load it with filler. Down here, I'll have to weld a patch, and I'll have to wait till another day. But I'd like to have the door in primer. I got a little high build primer. The door and the quarter in high build. And I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to leave the door kind of rough. Obviously, we're going to have to paint it this maroony red metallic. So if we paint it, even though it's rough, we can kind of chip it and sand it and do whatever and kind of suit the rest of the car. I mean, either this car needs a whole paint job or we're going to patina match it. I know a lot of guys don't like that. But I mean, like, what are we going to do here? I mean, every little bit of this thing has had some sort of old man dent, you know, a little bit of love. I mean, the whole bottom of this fender's ungood. The roof's nice. I mean, you know, the deck lid, someone's doing like a maze or something like that with a key in there, and then the paint just went to crap. So at the end of the day, to finish the doors perfect, they'll look terrible. So we'll get the grinder out. We'll go ahead and massage this out. I don't even know why there's so much filler on there. It doesn't look that bad. The door's a little scabby, but it'll suit it. Look at that. There ain't nothing filler can't fix. So this is all ready to go. I'm gonna put a fresh disc on the sander and we're gonna hog this thing down, make a pile of dust, and then yeah, carry on. Man, I hate bodywork, but I do love this thing's gonna look like a legitimate two-door right away here. Camera screwed up again, but I have got everything sanded down. Rough. But that's what high build primer is for, right? So we're gonna go ahead and just hide all this. So I think we'll hit the body filler first because it'll soak it up. And then we'll put a second coat on it, but it's like a real two-door now. Danny's trying to cover the smell with her t-shirt like it makes a difference. Primer's good for you, as far as I'm concerned. And already it's all the chaos is hidden. So this high build primer it's pretty good, but obviously it ain't gonna cover 40 grit here, but it'll look cool sitting there. Oh, body line actually lined up pretty good. It'll look good sitting there. It makes me feel better, and that's all that really matters. So I'll keep giving her on this. We'll drop her down, show you what it looks like when it's all done, and then on to the next video. Actually, so we're going to Miles Mayhem tomorrow. This video is probably going to come out after we're back, so hopefully you enjoyed that content. But yeah, the other side will get taken care of, and then really, this thing's ready to be driven. Well, there we go. She's all together. Ugly primer together. We did move it over. Unfortunately, I backed it out. It died, and I didn't feel like screwing with it, so we pushed it in with the Bobcat. But overall, it's looking pretty darn good, eh? Obviously, the body lines need to be straightened up. There's a big divot and stuff. I mean, it looks a little rough even in primer. But at this point now, it's a two-door. Say whatever you want. That's what that is. So, we still got a lot of work ahead of us, but that's where we're leaving this video. Oh, I brought the Nomad around, so anybody who's interested in the Nomad, you'll get to see me back it in where it sits inside for weeks. I didn't want to leave it outside when I'm not around because it's full of expensive parts and I just like looking at it so I can see it on my camera. Anyway, we're working hard to get to 100K. So if you haven't already, do me a favor, subscribe below, maybe tell a friend, leave a comment, all those good things. I appreciate all the kind words. This is absolutely probably the wrong way of doing everything, but you know what? For a few $1,000s, we got ourselves a two-door, big block, 66 Biscayne. Man, a lot of you guys seem to love this thing, which is absolutely hilarious. I never really thought this would have been a car people would like. You know, I guess they're a pretty, rare, base model post car with a big block, but hey, if you got a welder and a grinder, you can build anything you want. Thank you very much for watching. Hopefully you've been enjoying all the videos we've already done, and we're right back in the action. So, man, hopefully I'm excited to work on this thing again, because I've been giving her, and I'm ready for my vacation. See you later. Thanks for watching.